You
Oh,
ever scroll through Facebook and get that shiver down your spine? You see post, and it's from someone you know, or knew, I guess, someone who's, well, not with us anymore.
Yeah.
It makes you think about all the stuff, all the digital stuff we leave behind.
It's something people don't think about much.
No, not at all. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, that digital afterlife.
Yeah, you've got your will, right? For your physical things, your house, your stuff.
Right.
But nowadays, that digital footprint, all that online stuff, turns out that's really important to think about, to manage.
It really is. And I got to say, prepping for this deep dive, reading through all these sources, I'm kind of overwhelmed. Like, how much falls under this digital estate umbrella?
Yeah.
It's more than just Facebook, right?
Oh, way more. We're talking online banking, those subscriptions you sign up for and forget about, your emails, everything. It's like the Wild West out there, digitally speaking.
Totally.
And what makes it even trickier is that the laws, especially in Austria, are kind of playing catch up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the General Civil Code, the ABGB, they don't have specific rules for digital stuff yet. So being proactive is like the biggest thing.
So where do we even start?
Well, our sources all say step one, it's like channeling your inner Marie Kondo, but for your digital life.
Okay.
You got to make an inventory of everything.
Okay, so like a digital decluttering.
Kinda. More like a roadmap for your digital legacy. Imagine inheriting, like, your grandmother's record collection.
Right.
A detailed inventory that'd be like her catalog, her guide to what she had and what it meant to her.
And without it.
You're stuck with a mountain of vinyl, no clue what's valuable, what she cherished.
It's like that with our digital stuff, too.
Exactly. And here's another tip. Don't just stick this inventory in your will. Things online change so fast.
That's true. So what, a separate document?
Exactly. Separate and secure, digital or even old school paper.
Gotcha.
And remember, it's not just about giving someone access, it's about instructions.
Cool.
Imagine someone trying to, like, figure out your smart home system without any instructions. Talk about digital torture.
Oh, man. I can see it now. Like, honey, how do we turn off the oven? It's responding to Dad's old Spotify playlists again.
Exactly. That's why you need to designate someone you trust who can access accounts and understands what you want done with them, whether it's deleting things, handling finances, or even, posting a final message on your social media.
So it's kind of like picking a digital executor, in a way.
Exactly. And to make it super official, the source we looked at mentioned getting a notarized power of attorney.
So that gives them actual legal standing to act on your behalf, just like with, like, finances or property.
Exactly. Like handing over the keys to your digital kingdom, but with a legally binding seal of approval.
Makes sense. But let's flip the script for a second. What happens if there are no provisions, no planning, just digital silence?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Your loved ones are left to try and piece things together.
It'd be incredibly tough. Imagine having to, like, search through emails for clues about online accounts, or asking friends and family, did they ever mention this website? Did they use this app? It's like a digital scavenger hunt that nobody wants to go on.
And even then, you might not find everything.
Right. Success isn't guaranteed, and that's where those big tech companies come in, right? Facebook, Google, Apple, they've all had to figure out this digital afterlife thing.
And they all have their own ways of handling it, right?
Exactly. Facebook, for example, they let you choose a legacy contact to manage your profile after you pass away. They can even memorialize it, so it becomes more of a space for people to share memories.
So it becomes more like a digital memorial, a place where people can gather and remember. What about Google? How do they handle things?
They've got this thing Google does called Inactive Account Manager. You can decide what happens to your data after a period of inactivity. Delete it, share it with someone, like setting your digital affairs on autopilot.
It's giving out of office message, but for life,
Right, exactly.
What about Amazon, though? They're like running the world these days.
You'd think they'd be all over this, right?
Right.
But they're surprisingly limited. Relatives can get access with paperwork, but no fancy pre-planning features.
Huh. Interesting. So even with these big companies, having a plan matters. And it made me think about what you were saying earlier about complex apps. Like for your smart home, remember that from the source.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine your family wanting to, like, I don't know, adjust the thermostat after you're gone, but it's linked to your smart home system, and they have no clue how to use it.
Right. It's like, how do we turn off Dad's disco lights?
Exactly. Our source was really big on leaving detailed instructions for those kinds of things, like leaving digital breadcrumbs.
A tech for dummies, but for your digital afterlife. Love it.
Oh.
Okay, but what about, like, The more personal stuff, social media, blogs, those things, do we just let them exist forever or?
That's a big one. And it really comes down to what you want.
Yeah, I guess so.
Do you want your Facebook to become like a memorial page or just disappear? Make your choice clear. That's what the sources emphasize.
It's like deciding the fate of your digital self.
Exactly. Fade away, echo into the future. It's your call. But having that trusted person, that digital executor with the power of attorney, they can make it happen.
Right, so your wishes are respected even when you're not, around to enforce them. Speaking of respecting wishes, we've covered a lot. What a digital estate is, what Austrian law says about it, even those quirky online accounts we all have. But let's loop back to something super crucial, something that underpins all of this. Austrian inheritance law itself. What happens if someone passes away in Austria without any digital instructions? No plan in place.
That's where Einentvortung comes in.
Einentvortung.
Yeah, it's the Austrian legal process of transferring someone's whole estate, digital stuff included, to their heirs.
So basically the official handover of everything, physical and digital.
Exactly. And this handover is formalized through a document. It's called the Einentvortungsbeschluss. It outlines who inherits what. And remember how we talked about the inventory? This document is where that comes in handy, ensuring a smooth transition.
So even without a specific digital will, there's still a process.
Right, absolutely. But here's where it gets kind of interesting. Austrian inheritance law, they use a system called universal succession.
Universal. Sounds intense.
It basically means you inherit everything, the good, the bad, even those digital subscriptions you never knew existed.
Wow, okay, so I inherit everything.
Yeah.
That seems pretty straightforward, right? But I'm sensing a but coming.
You know me too well.
Uh-huh.
Here's the catch. Austria also uses something called statutory succession. It's like a preset order of who gets what, based on family ties.
So it's not as simple as just getting someone's Spotify playlist. There are, like, legal hurdles.
Yeah, exactly. Family dynamics, any existing wills, even the type of digital asset, it all factors in. That's why having conversations about your wishes is so important, like really important.
It's like they always say, an ounce of prevention.
Is worth a pound of cure.
Exactly. But in this case, it's about digital planning, preventing a world of headaches for your loved ones. So having that clear plan, especially in Austria with its own inheritance laws, it's super important for your digital legacy.
Absolutely.
But planning goes beyond the legal stuff, right? We've got to talk about those practical tools, those keys to our digital kingdoms.
Sure.
Password managers, right?
Password managers. Essential with all the accounts we have these days, but that master password, that adds a whole other layer to this whole thing.
It's like you've got the safety deposit box full of vital documents.
Right.
But there's only one key. And who do you even trust with that kind of responsibility?
$1,000,000 question. Our sources were really clear about this. Choosing who gets that master password, it's just as important as the password itself. It's got to be someone like unbelievably reliable, someone who gets the weight of that access,
Someone who won't go on a digital spending spree with your crypto.
Exactly. That's where those tough conversations with loved ones come in. You've got to find someone you trust, truly trust, someone who understands what you want, not just for your things, but for your digital life too.
So it really boils down to this. It's not just about organizing files, writing down passwords. It's about having those conversations, sometimes uncomfortable ones.
Right, absolutely.
But you got to make sure your loved ones, they know about your digital life, what you would want, who you trust to handle it all. Exactly. It's about taking control of your digital story, even after, well, you're not around to tell it anymore. And look, it's never too early to think about this stuff.
Never too early. So we've reached the end of our deep dive here. Big question. What's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this?
Don't wait. Seriously, the digital age doesn't wait for anyone, and neither should planning for your digital afterlife. Have those conversations, figure out what you want, make those plans.
It's like that saying, right? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
Exactly. Plant those seeds for your digital legacy, so to speak. And that actually leads to a final thought, something to ponder. As technology keeps changing, like really changing, how will our digital legacies change with it? It's something we're all figuring out, but being prepared, being informed, that's the best place to start.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this digital deep dive, everyone. And remember, your digital life, it deserves a plan just as much as your physical one does.